Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me. My name is Kim and I'm a children's librarian at the Monroe County Public Library. And today I have a super fun story time for you. I'm going to share with you a book, we're going to sing a song, and then I'm going to share another book. Before we get started though, we're going to do our hello song. You might remember that our story times all begin with the same hello song. They use the sign for hello and it uses the sign for friends. Let me show you how to make those. For hello, it's you put your hand up against your eyebrow and you move it away like you're making a salute. And that's hello. And the sign for friends, you take your two pointing fingers and they give each other a hug and then another hug. Those are our two signs we're going to learn. Hello and friends. And the song goes like this. Hello, friends. Hello, friends. Hello, friends. It's time to say hello. Hello, friends. I'm so happy to be here and to share stories with you. And the first story I'm going to share is called Lost and Found by Oliver Jeffers. Lost and Found. Once there was a boy who found a penguin at his door. Oh my goodness, what would you do if a penguin showed up at your door? That would certainly be strange, wouldn't it? The boy didn't know where the penguin came from, but it began to follow him everywhere. There's a little penguin following her around. The penguin looked sad. The boy thought, he must be lost. Yeah, that penguin really does look sad, doesn't it? Oh, poor penguin. So the boy decided to help the penguin find its way home. He checked in at the Lost and Found office, but no one was missing a penguin. Take a look at that illustration. You can see the man's face. It looks like he almost has like 6 or 7 eyeballs there. It's going to show that his face is moving back and forth, like he's saying, no, not here. He asked some birds if they knew where the penguin came from. There's some birds up in this tree, but they ignored him. Some birds are like that. The boy asked his duck, but the duck floated away. He didn't know either. It's a pretty good idea, right, to ask birds and ducks if they know anything about the penguin. What do you think birds, ducks, and penguins all have in common? That's right, they're all different types of birds, right? That night, the boy couldn't sleep for disappointment. He wanted to help the penguin, but he wasn't sure how. Oh, that is disappointing when you want to help out, but you don't know the best way. When you're looking to find something out, what do? Maybe you talk with your grown-up and see if they have any ideas. Or maybe you look in a book. Well, that's what the boy did. He found this book called Where Penguins Come From. It says the next morning he discovered that penguins come from the South Pole. But how could he get there? He ran down to the harbor and asked a big ship to take them to the South Pole. But his voice was much too small to be heard over the ship's horn. Look how small the boy is compared to this great big ship. Oh my goodness, that is certainly a very large ship. Together, the boy decided he and the penguin would row to the South Pole. Have you ever been in a rowboat? Or you have to row a boat? It's really difficult. They've got quite a task ahead of them, right? The boy took his rowboat out and he tested it for size and strength. Oh, that's good because you want to be safe. He told stories to the penguin to help pass the time. Oh, telling stories is such a great way to pass the time. Not only does it help pass the time, but it's also really fun and entertaining too, right? Then he packed everything they would need. I can see him here. He's got an umbrella and he's got a flashlight. And then I'm looking at this, I don't know what the penguin's carrying exactly. It looks maybe like it's a sock. Socks are important. And then they push the rowboat out to sea. There it goes. They rode south for many days and many nights. There was lots of time for stories. And the penguin listened to every one, so the boy would always tell another. They floated through the good weather and the bad. Oh my goodness, look at this lightning strike going all the way down from the sky. When the waves were as big as mountains. Wow. Until finally they came to the South Pole. Welcome to the South Pole. The boy was delighted, but the penguin said nothing. Penguins can't talk, right? Suddenly, it looked sad again as the boy helped it out of the boat. You can see the boy's helping his penguin friend out of the boat. He says the penguin looks a little sad. Then the boy said goodbye. It's really hard to say goodbye sometimes, isn't it? He floated away, and when he looked back, the penguin was still there, but sadder than ever. Oh, poor penguin. It felt strange for the boy to be on his own. There was no point to telling stories now, because there was no one to listen except the wind and the waves. Instead, he just thought. And here he is, scratching his head. And he thought a little more. The more he thought, he realized he'd made a big mistake. I love this image here. I'll show you, because it's got all these little stars and sparkles where he realizes he'd made that mistake. The penguin hadn't been lost. It was just lonely. Quickly, he turned his boat around and rowed back to the South Pole as fast as he could. Oh my goodness, do you see the problem? Here's the boy going back to the South Pole. And if you see this, it's the penguin and the umbrella going the opposite way. But they don't see each other because there's this large iceberg. At last, the boy reached this pole again. But where was the penguin? The boy searched and searched, but he was nowhere to be found. Oh, goodness. Sadly, the boy set off for home. But then the boy saw something ahead of him in the water. Do you know what it is? Closer and closer he got until he could see the penguin. There's the penguin in his little umbrella boat. And there's their sweet little hug. And so the boy and his friend went home together, talking of wonderful things all the way. You can see the boy and the penguin in the rowboat and all these beautiful large shadows of whales under the ocean water. And that is Lost and Found by Oliver Jeffers. All right. Whew, that's such a sweet little story. And the next thing I have for you is a song all about different polar animals. Our song is going to feature a penguin, and penguins say squawk. So the song will say, talk about what the penguin says, and we'll say the penguin says squawk, squawk. And our song is going to feature a polar bear, and we're going to say, what does a polar bear say? And the polar bear says, grr, grr. And our song is going to talk about a seal and what the seal says. And the seal says, arf, arf. And to help me sing this song, I brought my friend Lambie. So Lambie is going to help us out because there's a part in the song where you will hear there's a place where you can start speaking those sounds. And Lambie is very good at imitating animal sounds. Is that right, Lambie?
Yes, I'm very good at imitating the animal sounds.
Yes, so Lambie is very good at imitating animal sounds, and Lambie is very happy to help us out with this today. Is that right?
Yes, I'm so excited, yay!
All right, perfect. So our song, we're going to start with the penguin. And it goes like this. If you want to be a penguin, shout squawk, squawk.
Squawk, squawk.
If you want to be a penguin, shout squawk, squawk.
Squawk, squawk.
If you want to be a penguin, then you need to dip your toes in. If you want to be a penguin, shout squawk, squawk.
Squawk, squawk.
All right, that was our penguin. And next is our polar bear. Do you remember what the polar bear says?
Grrr.
Yes, perfect, Lambie.
Grrr.
Very good.
Yes, I'm very good at imitating the animals.
Yes, you are. All right, and here's this next verse. If you want to be a polar bear, shout grr, grr.
Grrr, grrr.
If you want to be a polar bear, shout grr, grr.
Grrr, grrr.
If you want to be a polar bear, then you need to clear the air. If you want to be a polar bear, shout grr, grr.
Grrr, grrr.
Very nice, Lambie. Very good. And next we have our seal. Do you remember what the seal says? Do you remember, Lambie? The seal says, arf.
Arf.
That's right.
Arf, arf.
Yes, perfect. If you want to be a seal, shout arf, 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 arf. If you want to be a seal, shout arf, 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 arf. If you want to be a seal, then you need to make a squeal. If you want to be a seal, shout arf, 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 arf. Perfect. Very nice. And that is our song about polar animals. Very good job, Lambie. Did you all have fun singing along and making the animal sounds? Yeah, I did too. I think that's a very fun song. Thank you so much for singing with me, and thank you, Lambie, for joining us.
You're welcome. See you later.
Okay, bye. All right, so that's Lambie and our polar animal song. And next up, we have a book called Polar Bear, What Do You Hear? And it's by Bill Martin Jr. and it's illustrated by Carle. All right, and this song is very fun because it talks a lot about the different sounds that animals make. Polar bear, what do you hear? I hear a lion roaring in my ear. Can you do a lion roar? Roar! Yeah. Lion, what do you hear? I hear a hippopotamus snorting in my ear. Snort. Hippopotamus, what do you hear? I hear a flamingo fluting in my ear. Flamingo, what do you hear?
Why, I hear a zebra braying in my ear.
Zebra, what do you hear?
I hear a boa constrictor hissing in my ear.
Can you make a really cool hissing sound like this? Yeah, very slithery like a snake. Look at that boa constrictor, so huge. Boa constrictor, what can you hear?
I hear an elephant trumpeting in my ear.
Elephant, what do you hear? I hear a leopard snarling in my ear. Leopard, what do you hear?
Why, I hear a peacock yelping in my ear.
Peacock, what do you hear? I hear a walrus bellowing in my ear. Walrus, what do you hear? I hear a zookeeper whistling in my ear. Oh my goodness. And next, it's the zookeeper. Zookeeper, what do you hear? I hear children growling like a polar bear, roaring like a lion, snorting like a hippopotamus, fluting like a flamingo, braying like a zebra, hissing like a boa constrictor, trumpeting like an elephant, snarling like a lion, yelping like a peacock, and bellowing like a walrus. That's what I hear. I'm going to bring this closer so you can see all these fabulous costumes that the children are wearing. Do you have a favorite costume on the page? I think they're all pretty great. I think I particularly like this peacock costume with this young girl wearing this peacock tail and then a hat with a peacock feather in it. They're all so great. And that is Polar Bear, What Do You Hear? By Bill Martin Jr., illustrated by Eric Carle. And that brings us to the end of our story time. And before we say goodbye, we're going to do our goodbye song. And our goodbye song has some signs just like our hello song, right? It has the sign for goodbye. So we're just making a little wave with our hand. And it uses that sign for friends again. Remember, that's just like your two pointer fingers hugging one another. And the song goes like this. Goodbye, friends. Goodbye, friends. Goodbye, friends. It's time to say goodbye. Bye, all. Thank you so much for joining me, and have a great rest of your day.